Yo, what's up, guys? So, according to popular belief, I am dead, which is pretty interesting. I feel pretty good, I feel pretty okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's definitely a false rumor because if I were to be dead, I think I would know, right? Unless I never was told that I actually have been dead all this time, in which case I must say being dead is quite a lot like being alive. There's really not that much of a difference. That would suck though, just being dead without knowing. I don't know. Anyway, I have a battle here against Georgie, OU. I'm going to be leading with my Deoxys defense. He leads with the Heatran. Go right for my Stealth Rocks because I will be faster unless he's a Scarf Tran, in which case, whatever. The thing though is I was going to go for Taunt, but I figured if I taunt him and he hits me with a move instead of him setting up rocks, I'm going to get hurt quite a bit. Now, this Deoxys does not have leftovers or a recovery move, so I'd rather not have that happen. I'd rather get up all my hazards. And, I mean, my team is really not that Stealth Rock weak anyway, so that's going to be fine. So instead of taunting him, I get up 2 layers of Spikes, 1 layer of Stealth Rock. In comes a Terrakion. I'm definitely going to want to switch out into my Jellicent, because I figure he's definitely going to go for Exeter, because why would he go for Stone Edge? It does the exact same amount as Exeter would, but it's less accurate, So I go into my Jellicent. He is Life Orb, which is good to know. That means he's not going to be Scarf. He's not going to be outspeeding anything surprisingly. Or surprising anything by outspeeding it. You know what I mean. And here he makes a really questionable play. He goes into his Chansey, as I Scald. Get the burn as well, which is really nice because of the fact that, Chansey does not have leftovers as Evaluate, so that's going to rack up really fast. I think burn does like 12% or something. But Taunt, like, how is that not, like, predictable? I mean, Taunt on Jellicent nowadays is like fucking Spore on Breloom. It's always going to be there, and you should always, expect it to be there. And instead, he goes into his Chansey, which really cannot do anything. Like, the best thing he could have possibly done right there is predict my Taunt and Seismic Toss, which I'm immune to, so that doesn't make sense either. I don't know. That was weird. But I go for Scald here, predicting the switch, kind of-ish. And in comes a Jirachi, which takes quite a lot from that. So I'm thinking that must be running no HP investment, meaning that it's probably offensive. And he doesn't in fact go for Grass Knot, which does over half, so he's definitely running like max special attack, max speed. And I missed my Will-O-Wisp. I just stayed in to kind of scout what he wanted to do. And even though he's a special attacker, and you might think it doesn't really matter that much, the extra damage is actually going to come into play later, as you'll see. That would have definitely helped out a little bit. But for now, I'm going to go to my Scissor just to take the Grass Knot. But he actually predicts that and goes for Calm Mind, or just predicted me to stay in and Calm Mind, or I don't know. I mean, he could have easily set up on Jellicent anyway. It didn't really matter that much. But I'm thinking that in combination with Grass Knot, Hidden Power Fire, and a third stat move would be kind of strange. I mean, that really doesn't provide coverage against Heatran whatsoever, so that's kind of like, I don't know. That doesn't really make sense to me personally, but I'm going to switch out Fearing it anyway, just in case. And he does go for Hidden Power, so that must have been Fire after all, and that must have just been a weird set that I just personally don't really approve of, but you really should not be predicting based on what you approve of, because that's just never... I used to do that a lot, like just be like, I would never go for that move right there, so I'm not going to expect them to do that. And then they do it anyway, and it's like, oh, you're not me. I forgot about that. But he finishes me off with a Grass Knot, which actually activates my Rocky Helmet, which is pretty funny. I mean, I don't really see how nodding something really like makes you make physical contact with it. I mean, if I tie my shoe, do I really make physical contact with that shoe? I mean, I guess I could if I really wanted to, but I could definitely avoid making contact with my shoe with that. Why am I talking about shoes? I go to T-Tar because I figure I could take a +1 Grass Knot in Sandstorm and just hit him back with a Choice Banded Crunch, because that's really what I need to do. I have a bunch of stuff faster than this Jirachi, but I just really need to hit it down to where I can one-shot it with something, because nothing really is able to. But he actually predicts my switch back to Scissor there, expecting Grass Knot. Now, if my Scissor had been Choice Banded, I guess I could have done that, just because in that case Bullet Punch would have probably killed him. But I'm not, so that wasn't even an option. But then again, why would I even switch out? I'm a T-Tar at below 100 health. I'm not going to be outspeeding much of anything. I just really was not planning on switching, and he really should have not predicted me to. That was kind of strange. Finishes me off with Dragonite with Earthquake, which basically tells me that he possibly could be Choice Banded. There's a very good chance he is, because Earthquake Dragonite with Dragon Dance is really not at all common. So that's definitely in the back of my mind. Not making any assumptions or anything, but that's definitely what I'm thinking. I go for Dranclar here with Mence. I am Scarfed. He doesn't know that yet, though. So after going into Heatran, he's probably going to either switch out or Protect. I switch back to Jellicent expecting the Protect, but he actually switches right back out into his Tangrowth, which I guess is bad. On the other hand, my Jellicent is really not going to be doing all that much anymore anyway, mainly because it's at low health, and it's really not going to get a chance to recover back up unless I'm in against Heatran, which is not going to happen anytime soon, I feel like. So I go for Taunt here just because if I switch and he Sleep Utters, something is going to be put to sleep, and I'd rather not have that happen. I have nothing to really take a sleep. So I'm just going to taunt him just in case, basically foddering out my Jellicent at the same time. You know, would he Giga Drain right there, or Power Whip, or whatever he's running? Most likely Giga Drain, though, because Special Tangrowth is more common nowadays. In OU, anyway, that is. But I burn him just to get some residual damage on him. He is, in fact, special. That's fine. I really just did that for the damage anyway. I didn't really expect him to run a physical Tangrowth. Crit, I don't really think that mattered either. Even if it did, then Sandstorm would have just finished me off there. Plus, like I said, I was really just foddering, and the best thing I could have done to him was Scald. So, meh. I'm going to go back into my Scissor because I expect him to run HP Ice in this current metagame. There's a lot of dragons. I expect him to run Ice over Fire just because. But as I U-turn, he stays in. And I'm like, well, he's taunted. He can't Sleep Utter me, so he must be going for Hidden Power Fire then. So I'm going to go back to Mence just to take that. And looking at the rest of his team now, the reason why I didn't go for Outrage before was because of the fact that he has a Tangrowth, obviously, like this thing, well, that's in here right now. And his Heatran was at much more health than it is now as well. But now that Heatran's at lower health, now that Tangrowth is in right here at low health as well, I can safely go for Outrage, get my Moxie boost up, and then it really just depends on if his Dragonite is in fact banded. And if it is not, then I can sweep, at least for a little while, depending on if I hit myself in confusion or not. If it's banded after all, then he can just Extreme Speed me, in which case he would be locked into Extreme Speed though, and I can do something there. I mean, Extreme Speed Earthquake Dragonite without being banded is just really not something you see ever, because that's the weirdest type of coverage you could ever go for, and that just does not make any sense. So I definitely know he's going to be locked into Extreme Speed, which is going to allow me to just bring in the Beast and and finish up the game pretty much. Going to go into my Carracosta, set up a Shell Smash on the Switch. You know, I established his Terrakion was not Scarf earlier because I saw the Life Orb. And I can pretty much outspeed his entire team. The only thing he has to hit me with right now is his Dragonite with Extreme Speed, which even at -1 defense is not going to do all that much. I mean, Carracosta has amazing defense, pretty good HP too. And there's just nothing he can do. I have Hidden Power Fire for both Tangrowth and, well, nothing else really. But I can safely go for that on Dragonite too, just because I don't want to miss anything else. I mean, I'm running Hydro Pump over Surf right now, just because I figured I'm using an NU and OU. I might need that extra power. But honestly, Surf scores every KO I really need it to. And it's just so good. I mean, Rock and Water is actually really good type coverage. There's only a few things that really resist it well. I mean, there's Ferrothorn, which I have Hidden Power Fire for, obviously, and I think then there's what is there? There's Empoleon, but fuck Empoleon. No one really uses Empoleon anyway. Yeah, and fucking, did you know +2 Stone Edge from this thing actually one-hit KOs Dragonite even with multi-skill activated? That's how fucking good this thing is. And just stall teams like this, or not really stall teams, but just slower teams like this without any like Scarfers or anything like that, just get destroyed. And I think Georgie's team that he's using was actually undefeated up until this point. I think it was like 8-0 or 10-0 or something, and then Carracosta came along and just ruined his day. So that was great. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, please. That'd be great. And I'll definitely... Okay, I'll definitely talk to you again soon. I mean, it's been a while, but it's not going to be this much of a while again. So I'll talk to you soon. And yeah, bye.